Be present in nearly 100 experiences covering 20 genres. Virtual Presence Productions.
Hi, welcome to the Virtual Presence Podcast. This is my friend Keith, known on the journey as Keith Coast Superstar. He was just visiting, and I went, well, I got to do a podcast, and you have a music background, and this is also going to be kind of music-centered.
All right.
He doesn't know, this is why I really want to do it. He's never seen this shit. He doesn't know anything that's going on. Last time I talked to him was 5 years ago. Before that, it was 10 years before that. I think it was 5 years. I think it's about every 5 years.
Yeah.
Five. He used to rent the guest house, and before it was even that, it was really just a room.
It was the room.
Literally
it was your studio. Originally, it was your studio.
Yes.
And then Cassie left.
Yes.
Or might have still been here.
Oh yeah, and we stayed in the house.
I was in the back room, and then we flipped.
Right, we flipped it.
And then I came out here.
Oh look, dude. New Zealand. There's a Moko. A guy from New Zealand. I was in New Zealand. And he's like, you sit down. And they were like, you're going to do this. And I was like, I guess so. Yeah, it's a whole story.
I'm even more jealous because that's where I want to go, New Zealand.
God, it's gorgeous, gorgeous.
Okay.
So what you're going to be witnessing today is literally two guys catching up, me trying to explain what the hell I'm doing, and seeing his reaction to the first time of seeing any of this, which I just can't fathom this being. So to give you an idea of this type of format, it's been going for 10, 15 years, right?
Uh-huh.
But the quality has been so fucking bad. Right, and it now we're up to 8K at 60 frames a second.
8K at 60 frames a
right.
second. Okay.
Okay, which means file sizes are huge.
Yeah.
And
computer talk, that's big and slow.
It's big, but it used to be like 2K total.
Okay. So
right, so now you're like at 4K per eye,
right?
And you have the ability to look all over the place.
Okay.
You cannot look behind you though, and the reason that is because it's kind of a wasted bandwidth. Do you know what I mean?
Right,
because really, there is 360 video, but mostly what happens is you go, oh, cool. And then you sit this way. And
you're back in front.
Meanwhile, you've lost half of your resolution because you've got to use the file for behind you. You see what I'm saying? So it's everybody started to figure out, this is good. There's no reason to waste that. So now we have all that resolution up front, and the difference in quality is, well, you're about to find out.
Well, you could make a metaphor there, too. It's not worth looking back.
This is my dude. Keith Coast Superstar.
Always going forward.
And we're wearing these hats, because Christmas started early for
We're
me
the
this
Journey
year.
Players.
We're the Journey Players. Back in the day, we did The Extraordinary Machine. Remember that?
Yep, you know that one.
And the reason we did Extraordinary Machine was, I was like, what's the hardest thing we can do on bass and the hardest thing to sing at the same time in one take?
But you did the whole thing. I mean, you arranged it.
It was fucking hard.
You sang it. You practiced it. I don't even know that. I think you figured out more of the notes and chords than I did.
But it's just not an easy thing to do, and that's why I was like, dude, we gotta fucking totally do it. So I think we got at least 102 views, which I think is pretty nice.
How many? We must have done like 80 takes.
Dude, it was one of the hardest things I ever had to do. Well, because you make a mistake, and it's like, for some reason I wanted to do it in one take, which was stupid.
No, but it was perfect.
Because we cut to I cut to different things too. So anyway,
perfect.
Yeah. Anyway, I'll link to that. But I need to show you. This is a 4-sport reel.
Okay.
That I've done. That we show at presentations to try to get people to do more stuff.
Okay.
It's a good introduction to all the things. Okay. And what's going to happen is you need to move this up and down on your head until it should look absolutely perfect.
Okay.
Okay. And then I'll recenter it. It should just be right in the middle. It's a little 5-minute presentation. Oh, whole thing started to freak out.
So this is the presentation you're giving.
There's millions.
Okay.
But this is
one of them.
Wait, why is that at 3 seconds? Hang on. Let's go back. Give yourself a little more time. All right. Here you go. You might want to take your hat off.
All right.
And then once you're in, all right, move it up. Is it clear?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Where's the logo? Point to it.
Not quite dead center, but like.
But it's close enough. Yeah, you're fine. You're fine.
Okay.
All right.
Oh shit. Holy cow, dude.
Our unique ability to be mobile while shooting allows us to provide access no
Oh, sick. Very far out.
And now we're setting our sights for the NBA, NHL,
Oh, rad.
and MLB.
Dude, I'm going to tell you right now, hockey and VR is going to be
From a single
like super crazy far out.
dozen pieces of content can be created that have been overlooked because they don't translate on a flat screen. In virtual presence, however, watching your favorite
Is that Kyrie?
in the arena
Yep.
becomes a magical moment.
Nice earring.
People at home can see that VR. Something as simple as warm-ups becomes an experience fans have never been able
So-
to witness without a press pass.
But this is all shot real. This is not.
Right.
And so this is the what we were talking about earlier, the distinction between the AI versus the.
AI is, you mean AR.
Okay.
But no, this is just a video format.
Okay, because this you really shot this, and now I'm in it.
Right. That's exactly what we're shooting right now.
Holy cow!
To watch the highlights of the game from the glass.
And remember, you can look everywhere.
Yeah, I mean it's like it is so visually intense, and the way your brain plays with it, because
Yeah.
like I know this isn't. I don't want to say not real, because it's very real. But it's weird how the way the psychology, it's tricking the mind's eye, like you're in it, you're there. This is like in some ways maybe more realistic than the experience you might have had in the stands.
Actually, it is. We'll talk about that in a second.
Or spend some time with the grounds crew as they prepare the diamond.
I mean, this may not be the right thing to say, but it's like, why be at the event when you can be in the event?
Yeah.
Which is this is very fascinating, man. So do you have to do this in, I mean, I know I'm reaching out into space here, but are you, when you shoot this, do you do this in like a complete like I say 360, but this is such a trip, man. I don't know, dude. This is arguably better than acid. And I've done a lot of LSD. This is pretty intense. I just want to reach out to this guy right here and be like, "Good job, Fred."
Right. Fred's good. Let's be honest.
Every aspect of the game that we've all taken for granted.
This is insane, dude. This is really, really, really cool. But like,
Content is now easily possible thanks to advancements in compression. You can even stream it at 8K 60 on already established YouTube channels that are accessed from YouTube VR on over 20 million headsets. However, if you already have your own flat app, it can easily be converted to VR.
oh, sick.
Your fans can watch their subscription flat.
Now that was your hand already in the video,
Yeah.
right? Okay, okay. Is that Russ?
Yep. You know your NBA players. I like it. Russ is crazy.
He is crazy.
He made me feel uncomfortable.
He is crazy. He's a monster, man.
I love him, though.
Video, your sponsors get an audience without distractions. For once, your views truly are your ad impressions, and your audience will be happy to support it for the privilege of being.
Oh my gosh, dude.
Watching live games like this is still a few years old.
Cuban.
Stories surrounding the game as well as highlights.
Hey, you know what? Big ups to that guy. He took that loss this year on the chin.
Yep.
And finally allowed
That's the way it should be. We can discuss that some other time, though.
access to, but simply didn't work flat.
Dude, this is killer Kawhi. Yeah, there you go.
Really go back to
The beard. And then,
Yeah.
boom, back to the
Yeah, can you really go back to that shitty one? No.
That's tough, dude. Yeah. That's so tough.
So that's the past year of my life. That's the past year. So I'll give you a quick rundown of how all this has happened.
Man, how far out?
Isn't that crazy that I got all that access up here?
And it all happened right here.
Right there?
I could see everything.
No, it's hard to even wrap your head around because took so many steps to get to that level, right? To answer some of your questions, to shoot it, this is it, right? And I pared it down on a gimbal, and you have to learn, your movements are totally different. You cannot move their head left or right. You will immediately get motion sick. You'll make everybody throw up. You have to be extremely careful. And in fact, most people only do it static.
Just a fixed camera.
Because it's almost too much, but you can't really document a sporting event static.
Without...
especially because even getting a press pass is hard enough, but you need to be out of everybody's way.
Right.
Like, you can't even put sticks down and then pick them up. They're like, out. I mean, it's constantly moving. So to get your shot, you have to get good with a gimbal. And then what it took was just I fucked up a lot.
Right.
So, like, Talia has really intense motion sickness. So she was like my canary in a coal mine. I'd shoot something, I'd show her, she'd be sick on the fucking floor for an hour. I'd be like, okay, so that's wrong. Thank you. And then I'd go back and, and I work, now she can watch everything. Like, I finally, every once in a while I screw up,
a lot of time editing?
So editing, I got to be in the headset.
You have to, it'd be just like film editing. You have to see it as it's happening. You got to see it as happening.
Now, what I end up doing is I get all my raw footage and I cut out the bad stuff so I know I can use that, and then I can take it off, and then I can cut it normally flat, and then but all those overlays and shit that you have to be in headset.
Yeah.
Because if I put an overlay right here, right? Well, that just fucked it up. It's called occlusion. Okay. Because what'll happen is you'll see the image will actually look like it's here. So you have to know what the 3D space is, take the image, move it here, and make sure you don't go like this, because the second you go like this, it actually goes like that. That's the biggest problem, right? Okay. Because you're in a 3D space. You're trying to put it in, and what I love the most about it is the fact that we can sit here. Here, I'll move this here so I can make it easier for me.
Yeah.
And I can say, remember my own naked Jesus? Boom. And now the screen is right there. And we can look at it, and they can be watching it like it's just floating right in front of us. That's what's really cool. That's how my kids know him.
Missing a beard. But
yeah, I took your beard and added 20 years to it.
You don't have a Camry anymore.
I just sold it, actually. I had it forever, dude.
Camrys don't usually have problems.
Right, we did this. I feel like they should just watch. It's one of my favorite videos I've ever done. I break down on the side of the road, and basically this naked guy picks me up, and I'm like, what the fuck? And he's basically Jesus naked driving down the road.
And in all fairness,
it's okay, my son.
I know you were, and I'm pretty sure I mostly was. We actually were.
Oh, and then he he gets me to come to the other side, basically, and I start getting excited about how he's proselytizing, and I start taking my clothes off, and then the last shot is me completely naked
on the middle of the highway in Indiana.
Yeah, and just holding my junk.
And the funniest part was, you start running, and I pull over, and a trucker comes the other way, and then there was the truck weigh station like the next mile up the road with the sheriff's cars and the whole night.
Oh my god, dude.
And here's Nikki hiding behind the seat, you running naked down the... Okay.
We have many adventures. One of my favorite people. All my favorite people don't live here anymore. It sucks, dude. Like, I get moments.
None of my favorite people live anywhere
Isn't
near
that
me.
weird how that happens? I have a couple, obviously. I'm happy with my family.
Sure, right.
But you know what the truth is? Maybe if you lived here, you wouldn't be my favorite person anymore. You ever think of it that way?
I haven't.
Like,
That's a good counterpoint.
I mean, there's a good point. Sometimes our memories are better than the reality.
I would be here too much.
Yeah, right.
I'd probably be hanging out with Cam upstairs playing TMNT.
Jesus fucking KC, man. Come on, Keith. What the fuck? So the reason I have to get this, it is a little early. We usually do the podcast at the end of the month.
Okay.
But in the midst of all this sports stuff, which this entire year has been meetings and meetings and meetings and meetings and shooting stuff, but we haven't gotten an actual contract where we shoot weekly and they put out content.
So you're aiming to shoot whole games?
No. I'm aiming to shoot the stories behind, like, I want, like, all these YouTube channels right now for, like, the Lakers and the Clippers, and I got to shoot LeBron James and Media Day. That was fucking unbelievable.
Okay.
The idea is they can release this now on their YouTube channel, and there are 20 million people
who can
access
it in
this.
full, right?
All you have to do is use your social media and your, and push people to it.
Yeah.
And you see how immersive it is.
It's incredibly immersive.
A sponsor is going to bend over backwards.
Right.
To be a part of it, because again, it's not like it's sitting there with you. It's in you.
Yeah.
Right. It's like if I'm a viewer that's getting the chance to view what you just viewed, and I hear McDonald's is sponsoring it, I'm gonna be more apt. Like I would actually want to support that. Right. Because I want more of this.
Yeah, what's McDonald's doing there?
Right. Yeah.
What are they weighing into? No, I mean, that's a legit. It's like
Kia or whomever.
It's a legitimizer for your product.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's what we're trying to work on. It is, as you can imagine, the logistics are a fucking nightmare. So in the midst of this, I've done this whole year. I haven't been able to release any of this stuff. It's behind, like, they have to release it. I need I need somebody to release some of the shit. My journey shit, nobody gives a fuck. It's the journey. Who cares, right?
Let's not take. I get what you're saying. In the
you know what the journey means, but they don't.
Right, but the journey is important because the journey is what got you here now.
Right, but
and I realize in the scheme that is
the cool thing about the journey is it's been a perfect way to test. Meaning, having to document life with this camera is not fucking easy. And it's forced me to figure out how to do all of it. Dark, movement. Like, I've been forced in these situations. So there's not one situation I can't document without... I got over 100 videos that I've started to learn. And that's because the journey requires me to do 2 videos a week. I've done 2 videos a week for 25 years.
That's a lot, dude.
So
it's a lot of editing, a lot of time.
So I just kind of incorporated it, and that's why the end result has been that good. But in the middle of all this, first of all, I slip a disc in my back. I don't know what happened, but like my fucking L3, L4 disc pops out, and I have to go to these meetings. I already look old. I mean, this is a little much. No, I just fucking powered through, dog. Lidocaine patches and trying to figure the fuck out. It was rough. Then in the middle of all this, I can barely walk, right? I get a call from a guy named Billy Amendola, who used to write for Modern Drummer magazine.
Yes, yeah, Billy Amendola. The name is really familiar.
I got to meet him. He was here for Ringo's birthday party. And my friend Remo, remember Remo?
Yeah.
He's like, Remo took me to look at bring this to a realtor.
Okay.
He's like, hey, I'm going to meet my friend Billy. You want to go to the bar with me? I'm like, yeah. And so we show Billy. Billy loses his fucking mind at what you just saw.
Okay.
He's like, oh my God, we got to get Ringo to see this. And I'm like, yes.
Oh, please.
Yes, we do.
Yeah, please.
That didn't happen yet.
Yeah, okay.
But he's just so excited. He goes back to New York, and we're texting, and he goes, Adam, I've got, Zach Hanson, Hanson.
Yeah,
Hanson, right?
He's, one of the Hanson brothers. Right? Yeah.
He goes, he's a big techie guy.
Anyway,
yeah.
Okay, yep.
Big techie guy.
Okay.
And he goes, dude, he's willing to meet with you in New York, and they have 2 shows here. If he likes it, you can probably shoot the show. And I'm like, that would be fucking perfect, because if I get somebody with a following to release it, at least there's something that then can go like this.
I feel like if you were, I'm going to use this term very loosely.
Right.
I'm going to say brand.
Right.
If you were a brand, let's take Hanson. Why would you not at least want to try it?
Yes.
If only one, all it would take would be one time.
Right.
And you're going to know immediately if it's a fail or a success.
Mm-hmm.
But if you put that out there,
and their fans are nuts,
and your people are way into it, and they feel like they're really in it.
Yeah. That's right. So I was like, fuck it. Even though I can't walk, I'm like, well, I can't lose an opportunity.
Sure.
You know me. I'm just going to, oh my God, the streets of fucking Manhattan with a slip disc.
It's tough.
Oh, dude.
Streets of Manhattan without a slip disc.
It was fucking, like, the only way I felt comfortable, I'd have to bend over, or if I sat on something like rock hard. I don't know why. If I sit on a rock hard thing, I was fine.
Okay.
I'm better now, obviously. So, like, there'd be, like, these metal pipes coming out of the ground, and like, oh. And I just sit for 30 seconds. I'm like, okay. And then anyway, we get there. He sees it, loves it, says, this is really cool. It's like, well, what are you thinking? And I'm like, I just like your sound check or something where you can make them feel,
that they're in it.
They're in it.
Right.
And so he talks to people there. The New York Union there are really weird about what you can film.
Oh, unions are intense.
Right?
Yeah.
And he said, I talked to them and they're cool with it. It just can't be behind a paywall. And I was like, all right, well, damn, because I want them to make money off this. I'm giving it for free.
Right.
I'm doing all of this for free. I just want it released.
Right.
So here's what we'll do. I'll shoot all this, and we'll make it a free trailer, right, that will point to your LA show. Because they were coming out to LA a month later.
Okay.
Like, and then when you guys come out to LA,
I can meet you.
I'll show it to you,
right.
and then we can release like this. And so I shoot everything there, which is also unbelievably holding this camera with a slip disc, dude. Like,
I can only imagine.
Dude, thank the fuck Christ, in the pit, like between the front row and the stage, there's these dividers, and there's a little seat.
Oh, you could prop yourself up.
I knocked out Mbop like a motherfucker. All like this, and then right at the end, because everybody's thinking, I did one of those turns so you can see the audience over here.
Yeah.
And then, it's a great shot. So very, very excited about it. So I get it all done. I render the whole thing. I edit the whole thing together. I ask him for his email. I email him, okay, here's what I did. Here's how I think we can do this, so on and so forth. They're going from San Diego to LA on Friday. They're traveling on Friday, day off Saturday, shows are Sunday and Monday. They do an acoustic and an electric.
Okay.
So I text him on Friday, and I'm like, all right, do you have time for a call to go over the email? He goes, what email? And I went, oh, shit, dude.
I sent you the email.
Yeah, I sent you the email.
Thing, yeah.
And so I said, let me send it again, and 3 hours pass. And I said, did you get the email? He goes, I did. And then he never responds. And I'm like, what the fuck? No. And so I knew, I mean, I don't want to bug the guy.
Right. That's so hard.
I knew the moment he said I did, but didn't keep going, I was like, oh, we're in trouble.
Yeah, something happened.
This is a problem.
Right.
You know, I don't know what happened. So I waited, and then Sunday morning, so 2 days passed.
Okay.
He's like, yeah, we're too busy. We can't. And I'm like, you're too busy to see it? I'm 20 minutes away from you.
Right.
I just want you to see what I shot.
Right.
If you don't want to do anything, that's fine.
Right.
And he's like, can you just email it to me? And I'm like,
well, then you can't.
I'm like, Zach, I flew across the country to show you the reel. You know.
Right.
But I'm not saying this.
Right.
Like, and I just get completely blown off. And it actually gets kind of contentious. And he's like, this feels like a bad breakup. And I'm like, I just want to show you what I shot. I don't even, like, you don't want to see it?
Right.
It's 4 minutes.
Right.
I mean, how do you not sound a little surprised?
Curious or
right, like
something.
I mean, I'm saying, are you fucking serious?
Right.
I flew across the country,
right.
Shot all this on my own dime.
I say on your coin,
to give this to you I'm trying to give it away.
Right.
You don't want to see the results. It looks, and the other thing that bugged me was that the other two never saw it.
The other two brothers.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I was like, hey, but then once the guy, I couldn't. It's like, how do you know how to deal with who's the man to give the? I think they manage themselves, so the whole thing gets blown up. I talked to Billy, and he's like,
and that stuff is so tricky. I remember that from being here doing auditions with like name people, and it was like, who do you I gotta wait, and but you don't know, or am I ever gonna hear back?
Right.
Yeah.
So I've failed in a bunch of different ways. This is a new one. You don't want to see it. Like, I'm gonna come to you, put it on your, like what we just did.
Right.
It's like, okay, did something like, and what the crazy thing is then you start going over the shoot. Like, did I do something to, like, nothing happened.
Right.
I hid in a little corner backstage. I wasn't in the dressing room. I came out, shot my stuff. I have video of him talking to the camera. Everybody's happy.
Right.
The video is great. All the brothers are fucking with the camera and doing shit. It's perfect.
Okay.
It was perfect.
Yeah.
And so, like, one of the last things I said to him was like, listen, I guess you were probably doing Billy a solid to do the meeting. No hard feelings, that kind of stuff.
Right.
And then I called Gary.
Our friend
Gary.
Yeah, Gary Hanson.
Gary Hanson.
Yeah.
Green Jello.
Jesus Quisp. Yep.
Yeah, he was the last guy on our podcast, actually.
Okay.
When the Hanson thing was a good story.
Okay.
Now you're the opposite.
Ah, the yin and the yang.
The yin and the yang. And he's like, he goes, what the fuck are you talking about? He won't see it. And I was like, dude, I don't know what to say. This is the strangest thing that's ever happened to me. I'm totally accepting if they see it and they're like, we don't want to do this.
Yeah, sure.
No problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like, it's amazing. Here's the thing. In my first showbiz go around, it was, can I just get the fucking opportunity to show you what I can do?
Yeah.
Right? And that was the hardest part. I've now gotten the opportunity. I showed you what I can do.
Yeah.
It's so much better than I even thought I could promise.
Right.
And you don't want to see it?
I've put all this effort.
Like, you don't want to look at it.
Right.
I can't email it to you. I mean, what do you want? You want me to make a flat vert? Like, what the fuck, dude? So he goes, I almost signed them to a publishing deal 20 years ago.
Gary said this?
Yeah. And he's like, I know Taylor. I got his number. So he's like, let me figure this out. So he texts Taylor, everything, and Taylor's like, oh, shit, man, I didn't realize this. And he didn't know any of this, right? So he's like, listen, I'll see it. And that was over a week ago.
Gary
said Taylor's going to see it, whatever. But now, after they had a good long phone call and they talked about some publishing stuff because they're still looking for publishing deals and that kind of stuff.
Okay.
It all seemed like this was set to go, and then now he's kind of unresponsive. And Gary's like, I don't know what to tell you, dude. Like, I thought this was going to happen. Maybe it's not going to happen. But here's the problem. I don't blame Taylor or Isaac, the other dude.
Yeah.
They never saw it initially.
Right.
Right? How do you explain what you just saw to, like, Samantha? Like,
you have to see it.
You have to see it.
Yeah. I mean, I could explain it 1,000 ways.
Right.
But it's one of those things that
until you've experienced it,
you have to experience. You have to see it.
Right.
Like it, hate it, love it, anywhere. But you have to have the experience first.
Right. And the great thing about Hanson is, I know everybody wants to make jokes like there has-beens, but
no.
They're extremely good songwriters. Yeah. They had an amazing catalog the past 20 years. Yeah. They kind of got typecast on a fucking one-hit wonder when, in fact, they all write, they all sing, they all play, and their following is rabid.
Well, and don't they live in somewhere like
Oklahoma?
Yeah, because they do. I think once a year, every
Cain's
couple
Ballroom.
years, they get a bunch of musicians together. I thought they bring them out to their property. They all break up into groups and write and record just for fun.
They are one of the most talented groups out there.
Yeah.
And again, their fan base is so rabid. I saw 40-year-old moms in tents in New York City that stayed overnight just to get a better standing position. Get the fuck out of here. What middle-aged women are doing that shit anymore? That's how fucking big they are. And nobody knows that.
Right.
And I'm like, that's how this is going to work, is that you release that to them.
Yeah.
You get to be in their dressing room.
Yeah.
You get to see, like, their opening prayer. You get to walk to the side. You like the encore, like when they come off stage and they talk and then they go back out. You get to stand there with them.
Right.
You get to see Taylor holding his kid, and like it's the most present, amazing feeling if you're a fan of this band.
Right.
But it has to be a specific type of band, and it actually is better that they just have like a rabid, like Trekkie fan base.
Sure.
Like just a normal.
Right.
I don't think it would translate. You know, I mean, unless it was Taylor Swift, right?
Yeah, it makes sense.
You know,
right.
So I was so excited for them to see it because I knew they would freak out. But now they're back in Oklahoma, and it's like, what? I'm supposed to pay another $1,000 to fly out to show you, like, no, this was it.
Right.
I already paid all the money.
Yeah,
I already did everything.
Did all the things.
You were right. You were 10 minutes from me.
Right.
So that's it. And it's like, what?
That's heartbreaking.
It's one of the strangest fucking things. And then all the sports stuff is kind of on hold because of other issues. So I basically, this entire year was working my way to nothing. Except for a really cool reel that nobody can fucking see. It's like...
So you can't release the footage because of the organizations of whom you...
Yes,
and
it's
there's
fucking
the
NBA.
legalese and all that.
Right. They need to release it. I mean, I guess I can sneak in a second, right? I think but no, I want people to like the stuff with LeBron and his kid is just the craziest stuff you've ever seen.
LeBron and Bronny?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
So their media, it was the first time they ever suited up. You see them walk out,
nice,
and they're talking to each other down this hall, and you're behind them. And of course, what's great about this is that I put the camera right at 6 feet, right? Like you can't. You know what was so crazy about Media Day? All the players are so much taller than everybody else that they have conversations with each other that you're not part of.
Oh, because it was literally over
literally, like it's like being in kindergarten, and the adults are talking, and the kids are just like, ugh. It was the weirdest thing to watch them interact, and they're having all these conversations.
And those guys are huge. Dude, even the small players.
Well, yeah, Anthony Davis. It's crazy. Yeah, the guy, Austin Reeves. I did a little thing with him, and he's taller than me. I was like, but on TV, what the fuck?
Yeah, it looks teeny.
Yeah, so again, all this great footage, and here's the worst part. Do you know how this year started? Losing the Super Bowl. I shot that thing for the NFL.
On this?
That was the opening of that reel.
No.
That was the NFL. I shot it. They loved it. They greenlit a $30,000 shoot at the Super Bowl.
Okay, this is what you had said to me in the text, right? Okay, yep.
$30,000 shoot at the Super Bowl. 2 weeks before the Super Bowl, they had to pull out. And we thought it was because of this merger. Ends up, Apple came to them, offered to do this with NFL Films, not NFL Media. And they were like, oh, you're going to pay us? Okay. So they erased me. Apple came in. They put their little 4-minute thing out. And I got beat by Apple. Which, hey, man, if you're going to get beat, I'm fighting with Apple. It's kind of
pretty
cool,
good, yeah.
Right? Like, this is kind of amazing that I'm finding a way to do this shit.
Your Apple tier.
Right. Yeah. On the other hand, what the fuck? Yeah. I'm just trying to fucking shoot some shit.
I just want to make some shit.
Like, God damn it. So, the weirdest year of my life.
That's fucked.
It's the weirdest year of my life.
That's a fuck, man.
Yeah. But a good fuck, because the end result...
But the year's not over. There's still time for it to turn
the year's
around.
over. No, this year's over.
Well,
it's
I guess, because we're coming into the holidays. It's Los Angeles.
Oh, no, I'm not going to stop.
Everyone leaves.
Anybody who knows me, go watch Fastest DeLorean. I don't quit.
Yeah.
However,
they catch on fire, we put them out.
Yeah, we just keep going. However, it is remarkable how many different ways I've found to fucking lose. Like, it's the Edison quote of, I didn't fail. I found 10,000 ways it didn't work.
Right.
But you don't want to see it. I feel I just did this video. I was like, it's like he made the phonograph work.
Right.
He was like, oh shit, I did it.
Yeah.
Come here, you want to hear it?
Yeah. See, after watching it, and I'm pretty weird with tech and this type of thing, but even after watching it, just from the layman's perspective, I'm like, well, what else do you got?
Right.
Like, what else could I see?
Oh my god.
So, for example, we went and saw Andre 3000 at Durham Performing Arts Center not even a week ago.
Yeah.
Less than a week ago.
Yeah.
We were 6 rows from the front. I paid big money for those tickets because we've been going to see concerts all summer, and they got a lot of backlighting, and if you're far away, you can't see them because they're fucking silhouettes, and it's like, why'd I even pay the fucking money to be here?
Yeah.
I could watch this on a TV screen.
Right.
So we paid the money. We got the tickets, 6 rows. Like, I'm looking up at the guy. I'm not right there, but I'm looking up at the guy, and I'm like, all right, this is kind of rad. He doesn't rap anymore. He's playing all this, like, peaceful flute music, which is a whole nother trip. But then I'm thinking, after watching something like that, in my mind's eye, I'm thinking, like, okay, well, to your point, what was the pre-stage?
Yes.
Like,
yes.
Just that 1 minute of moment of, like, everyone that went to this Andre show, hey, go home, log into YouTube, put on your thing,
and you get to see what our sound check was like.
And you can hang with us for exactly 5
Right.
minutes, and you get the whole...
Right.
Or, like, even if you shot the concert,
Right.
if you were somebody way up in the balcony that kept seeing the fucking silhouettes, because then at least you could be there and be like, oh shit,
Right.
like.
The problem, they have done some concerts. The problem is they're just like 5 static cameras, and it gets boring to me.
Right, I understand.
Okay, because if I'm gonna put this fucking thing on,
you want some dynamicism.
I need some sort of narrative. And again, this is all brand new. People are trying to figure out the best way to tell a story with this.
Okay.
And motion sickness is a huge issue for most of the population. So you've got to nail that. So what I'm doing is kind of risky, right? But I've learned how you can follow behind somebody and have it not be motion. Like there's I don't want to give away too much, unless you are working for virtual presence.
No,
but there are some tricks,
right?
But it really is IP, right? Like I'm actually figuring out all the stuff that I haven't seen other people do.
Okay.
And when it comes to concerts and even the actual game, I like the game flat. Okay. I want to watch a football game flat.
Okay.
The actual game,
yeah, makes sense.
I want to see all the camera angles, and I want it on a big TV, and I want to sit back, and I don't.
I could see where a game could be slightly disorienting with like, and then having just this kind of a. I can see that where you want to have the whole spread.
Right, because sports really does need cuts. Right. This doesn't do that well with cuts. You kind of want it now. So some of the football, I have like a 30-minute presentation of the football game, where you were on the sideline, and I put a picture-in-picture of that. Okay. And that's a cool way to tell a story, but obviously that's a post thing.
What about like film?
What about film?
TV shooting,
so
filmmaking, since there's so many cuts.
Apple, you can do it. I mean, what you watched had a lot of cuts in it, right?
I'm thinking about like just because I saw it was on the plane. The guy was watching like Dune. Yeah. Being immersed.
Yep. And everybody's learning how to do the storytelling things. Like I did one where people weren't being dynamic enough. They were just kind of setting up the camera, and people were standing around it. And so I did one where I took a gun and I put it right up to your eye, so you can't get away. And I said, now imagine if the scene was, imagine you put it on and you're watching a drug deal, but while you've got the second gunman holding the gun to you while you're watching it.
Yeah.
Suddenly you have this, you can't get away from the gun. It fucking sucks.
Right.
Like, you're not scared you're going to get shot.
Right,
but you don't like having something in your face.
There's a real psychology to
yeah.
it. Yeah.
And you have to watch this scene. The anxiety just went like this.
Right.
Like, I showed it to Talia, and she went, okay, I can't. Like, she just, it was so uncomfortable. Because I'm right in your face.
Right.
And I said, you have to, I don't necessarily think it all has to be point of view.
Right.
But you certainly have to give somebody the sense that you're in the room. Mm-hmm. And even if the scene is us,
right,
you're sitting at the bar.
Yeah, you're having a drink. You're right there. Right.
So we might never talk to this person, but you at least have to accept the environment is that you're in it and you're not a camera in it. Yeah. You're actually in it.
You're me at the bar going.
Right. And every once in a while you can be like, can we not right now? Jesus Christ, right? Like, so there is a way to maybe,
that's you could break the fourth wall.
A little bit. But the problem is a lot of people that use this, it's completely fourth wall. It's porn.
Right.
Porn is something special. Though.
I'm sure.
You gotta get, like, the first time you see it, you're like, well, there's that day. And then you got to get that out of your system. Now it's completely boring to me. It like honest to God, the first time I saw it, I immediately went, hey, Tyler, come here. I need you to watch this because I feel like I'm cheating on you if you don't watch this with me. And so she watches. She's like, "Oh Jesus, wow!" And then now it's boring. But ironically, that's where all the money is. And guess where the budget's and cool shot, like
pornography.
I learned half of the way movement works and what doesn't work from watching the trailers of porn. All the stuff that isn't sex.
This makes me think of the scene in Lebowski where Jackie Treehorn's like, "Oh, all the advancements in pornography, dude." He's like, "I still masturbate manually."
That's funny. So that's my story. Keith is one of the best bass players I've ever seen in my life. Almost
still, but maybe
almost
not.
got. Oh yeah, have you done it in a while?
I mean, I play bass all damn time.
Yeah. His big what was it? Throat Punch? What the fuck was that? Dave Navarro's band?
Yeah,
that
so we
with?
did. Which I saw Jane's Addiction on tour recently, and then a week later they got into a fight and broke up.
That was rough.
That was
dude.
bad.
That was
really bad.
And you were too young to go on stage. Remember that? That was why you couldn't go on tour.
That's what. Well, so we did. We did Panic Channel. That was through Gary.
Right.
Because Gary knew Steve Isaacs.
Right. Who
was the MTV VJ that got fired for blowing their budget somewhere. Like that was his thing. Like he was one of the, I don't know if he was one of the original VJs, but he was early. And then he went somewhere, blew a budget, and they were like, dude, you gotta pack.
Wow.
So they sent him. Yeah. So that was Panic Channel, which no one's fucking heard of. No one knows. No one cares.
Right.
And I think even maybe those guys might want to scrub it off the resume.
Right.
Then there was, Gary almost got me on audition with Paul D'Amore, who was the original bass player from Tool. And that was one of those ones like you described, where it's like I had the conversation with him, we're talking, he's like, "Oh, dude, you're 21, you're a little young." I'm like, "Yeah, dude, but goddamn, like, you were all 21 at one point and did this, like," and then never heard from him.
Yeah.
And then he never did anything.
Right.
I think now he scores for like commercials and stuff. Then I was in Bad Things. That was the one you filmed at the Viper.
Right.
With Kelly.
Yep.
Kelly Failure Reunited. So Kelly does that now.
Wow.
And as far as I know, not much of anything else. I know he
Yeah.
got married. I think he got cancer. And then that was it. But I know he's around.
And then you worked for Metallica.
Yeah, and I was with Metallica. And Rick Rubin-ish for a while.
Right. How was Rick Rubin?
As far as I know, he's good. I mean,
how was he when you were working with him?
I mean, he was great. I spoke to him like all of like maybe 3 times.
Right.
How you doing? Good. How are
it.
you? Because, when you're in that spot, you have to be ninja invisible.
Right.
And then it was like when Metallica was there, that was what, 3 or 4 months of James, Lars, Metallica's people.
And you were just like a gopher. You were just trying to help him out, get the song recorded.
Pretty much, yeah. The studio people, and then Metallica's people. And well, of course, we've talked about this, but like Metallica, that's an organization. That in and of itself is its own government, economy, GDP. Like it's its own thing. So we did the Metallica thing, which was rad. That was a Death Magnetic record, and then that was when I left the first time. I split and I went back home. I went to Ohio.
Right.
And then I came back and we did The Gossip with Rick Rubin again, and I think that band is still around. Not popular in the States at all. I shouldn't say. Let me take that back. I don't want to do a disservice. Not as popular in the States.
Right.
But goddamn, that fucking record that we did and they put it out, that was like the top selling single in Germany of all time, I think.
Wow.
Eighth Wonder, I think, was the track. It was in a Dior commercial with Charlize Theron.
Oh, really?
Or yeah, it was a Dior or something. It was,
I hung out with in a bowling alley the other day. So, yeah.
She's tall. She's a real tall lady.
Yeah, and she's also like breathtakingly looks like a mannequin.
Really?
She's gorgeous. Like it's one of her and January Jones are the two humans I met in person where I was like, they look fake. They don't look. You're like,
isn't she single?
I'm not.
Anyway.
You're not. What the fuck?
Well. Cut. But yes.
By the way, everybody's probably like, dude, this guy's done. Welcome to LA, right? Like, if you've been here and you have any talent, you have the strangest stories of like passing through life and.
Well, and I mean, obviously, people can go and look, but like, dude, it was crazy. So August, I don't remember the day specifically, but August 06, I got here, moved in that day. That day, you got the CBS call.
Right.
It was like, I think 2 days later, we were eating sushi with Gary in Santa Monica. It was the day before that, I think, was it me, you, and Cassie went to the place in East LA. That was the first time I'd ever had crepes and caviar.
Yeah, that was that night. That was Remo's.
That's
thing.
right. And I remember coming to you and I was like, dude, have you had this pancakes and this weird jelly? This is really good. And you're like, you motherfucker, that's crepes and caviar, moron. I'm like, oh, well, whatever.
Pancakes and jelly.
I'm like, well, the jelly's really salty, but it's good, you know? Because I'm a hayseed, man, whatever. That's true, man. That's
I remember, dude.
That
was all the same night. That was the first night.
Yeah, because Chrissy was here still before I took her to the airport, yeah. And then you did the New York thing.
Right.
Cassie left. Donna came back with you from New York. We did the Donna thing. Then I moved out.
Right.
And then we didn't talk for a while. And then we did talk. And then that's when I was having all the good luck.
Right.
With that stuff.
Right.
And then I went home.
Which I said, don't go home, dude.
Funny enough, my Uncle Bill, when we got to Arizona, he's like, why are you leaving California? I'm like, oh, you know, like, I don't know, man. Confidentially, I might have not been in the best health either. But he's like, dude.
Don't go.
You're number one. You don't want to do that, and if you do, you're never going to go back. And I was like, no, you can always go back. He's like, no.
Yeah.
You really don't understand.
Yeah.
You'll never have the money. It's just the way that the coast. You'll never be able to go back.
Poor here and still talking to people is 1,000 times better if you what you want to do with your life than saving and attempting like struggle here, starve here. As long as you're still meeting people,
right,
and talking, things will keep going. I just remember my thing that with you, and there's no reason to bring this up because both of us have had amazing lives, and I'm sure you're rocking it out. But I remember you were like, I came here to be a bass player, and I'm like, motherfucker, you're working with Metallica. I hear you. I know this is a bad month, but like. In the scope of shit, what you've pulled off in a few months here is so fucking crazy.
It was crazy.
You were hanging out you auditioned for Navarro. Yeah. Like you were in this, like, dog.
And Steven told me flat out when I didn't get it, I was like, I treated it like a job interview. I was like, well, can you tell me what I can do next time to be better? And he's like, because even fucking Gary was like, dude, just show up in all straight black. And I didn't. And that was to this day. That's because Steve told me flat out. He's like, dude, we had a guy show up who couldn't even play the music.
Right.
You were the best guy we auditioned in terms of talent and all this sort of thing. You know, like his childhood dream come true. I'm a 21-year-old kid, and here's Navarro doing the deep knee bends, and I'm like, fuck, man, you know. And then it just didn't, because I didn't wear fucking tight black jeans.
Right.
The guy in Bad Things, I remember him saying to me all the time. That's why after that first show, he kept making me take my shirt off. Well, you look sick. You look really thin and punky sick. But, like, dude, you got to get some tattoos or get covered up. But you got to get tighter clothes, man. You just don't, you're just not the look.
Right.
And then I was in fucking Topanga with all the hippies, turning into a hippie.
Right.
And then I definitely wasn't the fucking look.
Right.
So, yeah. And
LA, man.
In youth, you realize now, if I had been more patient.
Right. Well,
maybe played my cards a little differently, then
We all have that for sure.
Sure.
For sure.
But since that time, so then I went home and I left here the second time. I went to Tennessee. I went back to college, which didn't do me any fucking good for no reason.
Yep.
The only claim to fame I can make is I went to an all-black college.
Obviously not.
Well, they let me in. They let me in. But hey, so shout out to Fisk University. I don't know that they want me shouting them out, but
yeah, right.
And then started a record label, was in bands, toured a little bit through Tennessee, played a lot of gigs there, and then got a corporate job, or what my grandmother would have called a white man's job,
right?
Because you have benefits and health, and hey man, this is the way it is.
Yeah, that's how we have racist grandparents. There we go.
I mean, this is, I mean, you can edit this, right?
No, not gonna.
So, met Sam, got fired because of the fraternization policy.
Oh,
the no frat policy.
Right.
So they found out we were sleeping together. They fired me, and she quit.
Oh, nice.
And then I became an electrician.
There you go.
And then,
that's. I mean, you're making money. You're
doing
all right.
I do okay. Like I'm not doing as well as I probably should be.
Oh, because you're too busy doing other stuff?
Well, I mean, I'm always working on music, but like, we live in third poorest county in the state.
Oh.
So you can only charge with so much before.
Oh, really?
Like, there's a national average. We set our own prices.
Right.
There's no, like, if you're a key grip, there's a scale for key grip, right? When you're an electrician, it's whatever you want it to be.
Yeah.
Dudes in New York and Massachusetts, you're charging $300 an hour.
Right.
I'm charging whatever, $150 an hour.
Right.
If I moved out here to do electric, I could charge $300 an hour.
Maybe.
Because it's all scale.
Well, the problem here is that implies that there aren't. I know a guy. Who can do it for $150 an hour? You know what I mean? Right. So like that's the problem.
And you see that, and you see where sometimes that but like all in the interim, I've had all these wacky little like lived with my dad for a while. My very estranged.
Wow.
Yeah, like he lived with.
I helped you look him up.
Yeah.
No, your mom.
My mom. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So while we're out here, we found my mom. My dad moved in with me and Sam, and lived with us for a year.
That's crazy.
Which is crazy.
Was it good or?
It was really good until the end.
Well, isn't it always?
Crack kills.
Yeah.
It was really good until the end, but then like there's just been all these like I've traveled all kinds of different places. I still have not been out of the country yet, which is really sad. But I was in these crazy bands, these punk bands, and these like jazz bands, and like stuff that I probably never would have done ever in my life out here. And then now I get the benefit of like working quietly, like I will tell
peacefully.
And I will tell you honestly, there is that part of me, as I'm sure there is in any dreamer creative. Mm-hmm. You came here for the same dream, the same thing. That was the start of the journey prior to my time. There's that small part of me that's like, I was this close.
Yeah. Well, and the other thing is like, so what I'm doing now, like, what I'm capable of.
Sure. Right.
With the egos, right?
Yeah.
So, like, getting ghosted by Hanson, for what isn't even what I'm good at. I'm like, motherfucker, I'm just trying to help you. I'm just trying to show you and give it to you.
Right. What you can do to better connect and interact with your...
fucking hell, like, I can play.
Right.
You should, like, and I'm not even, I'm ignoring that part of my, like, life.
Yeah, because
try to push this format, because I think it's the future.
You can sing and do keys.
What's funny is, like, I do all the own music in the videos. Nobody ever knows that. Like, I'm writing shit.
People don't think about it.
They don't think about it at all, But it is weird to be in this situation. It's like, I'm used to getting blown off because you don't think my acting's good or like my singing's good. All right, that's but motherfucker, dude, I'm literally trying to help people, trying to push this format into a place where, listen, once this isn't as big, I mean, it's amazing how small this is considering how amazing that was, but at some point it will be glasses.
Sure.
And then this will be a lot easier. I'm trying to get in a little early so I can have a foundation to build on.
I think the thing that I think is interesting with tech, and really, so I think you mentioned this in the tech, so post-COVID, the lifetime before COVID, so different, the lifetime after COVID.
Oh, right.
The potentially lost and fierce independence of people.
Yeah.
It blows me away. the lack of people feeling like they can really depend on, like, again, to your point, you want to help people. You're trying to help other corporations build brands, do better. We can't have, if it's not
right.
Cool, good for you, Adam. You go do you.
Right.
We're gonna go do us. And
all right,
it's
well,
like,
then give me a job.
Yeah,
like, I'll work for the Lakers. Fuck.
Yeah, can we? But if you know, this is why I'm a big fan of Vanilla Ice. Stop, collaborate, and listen. You know, you work it out.
I think that's how we end it right there. Vanilla Ice. Stop, collaborate, and listen.
That's right. Rob Van Winkle, 28.
The irony is that Hanson stopped, collaborated, didn't listen.
Oh, and there's a lot more of these. Please check out my other VR logs and subscribe and comment. It means the world to me.